Hey folks, this is Soul. It's an off day, and I want to share some feedback after learning some new information about high-end crafted gear in Season 2. So if you don't mind, hit the like button, subscribe to support the channel, and let's get right into it. So I'm going to put it up on screen somewhere. This is a splintered spark of Shadow Flame, and the tooltip says that we are to use 2 of them to create a spark of Shadow Flame. That's the thing that we need in order to craft Season 2 gear, or to recraft Season 1 gear and turn it into Season 2 gear. That part is really cool. I love that. The rest of the tooltip reads that it is obtained once per week from your first Malicia's Hoard or Sensational Niffin Treasures. Now, the Hoard thing is earned by completing one of the weekly PvP quests, whether it's doing arenas, battlegrounds, solo shuffle, so on and so forth. The Niffin treasure is earned from a weekly quest that's down in the new zone. So the feedback that I have about this item, this new information is critical. It's negative, and it's based on the tooltip just as I see it. Keep that in mind. And the way I see it, yeah, players are going to have to complete one of these, get these weekly things every single week in order to obtain these fragments to make a spark every other week, every 2 weeks. It was explained in a more recent developer interview that this was going to be a thing for like the entire season. It's a non-RNG, it's a fully deterministic thing, which is kind of like yay, sort of. But as we've experienced in the past, deterministic rewards often also make for a FOMO style of grind because, well, in this case, what if we don't complete the weekly quest? Now, I mean, to be fair, it's easy to do. You just need to get, I believe, 1,500 or so reputation with a new faction. That's no problem. And then completing the PvP quest, that's kind of a natural thing. But what if I happen to miss a week? What if I'm out of town, I got other stuff to do, or I just forget? And also, am I going to have to do this for all of my alts each and every week in order to get these sparks? So let's take a look back at how Season 1 of Dragonflight worked out. Now, the first 5 sparks that were earned, those came directly as a quest reward. Now, if someone happened to miss a week, they could always catch up because after completing the first quest, the next one would be immediately available. And after the 5th spark opened up, of course, players were able to do all 5 of the quests, but also there was a skip. A skip was made available, so alts could immediately pick up 5 sparks for this crafting. Now, the catch was that they had they didn't have any primal chaos. They had to farm that, but that's beside the point. The point is that at least up to those 5 sparks, every character, no matter when they were made, they were pretty much on an even playing field. And then after that, okay, yeah, there was RNG and not every character had the same experience and some folks got pissed over that, okay. So let's cut back to what's going to happen in just a few days. Without any new supporting information from this tooltip and the dev interview, characters who don't complete, or who don't get this weekly item or don't complete the weekly quest for PvP, they're going to fall behind without any method of catching up. I mean, at the start, there is this tutorial quest that lets everyone have 1 spark pretty much right away, but that doesn't feel like a fair shake, and don't worry, I see my 2-handed users out there in the back. What's going to happen like a month or 2 from now? Like, if I were to level an alt, if I level an alt and I want to get it caught up and make myself some gear, but hey, oh no, like I'm limited to that 1 intro spark, and then I have to wait each week for a half spark, or I gotta wait 2 weeks for the next spark. It just makes the crafting path not feel very good, and it feels like it's going to impact the economic side of WoW adversely, because there's going to be fewer sparks that are going around. But of course, we have to make it clear that crafting is not, it's of course not the only way to gear in Dragonflight, but compared to Season 1, the accessibility of crafted gear is gonna be nerfed pretty hard, the way I see it. My argument isn't that I want gear faster, I just want the experience to feel a little bit more similar to the previous season. Players are gonna feel forced. Alright? They're not literally being forced, but they're going to feel forced to run a weekly or whatever that they didn't have to before. They're going to feel forced to do it so that they don't fall behind, and that's going to be multiplied by their number of alts. they're gonna be left to make decisions on whether to play character 1 because of their own reasons, or character 2 because they've got to do the weekly. Now again, this is just feedback based on the surface stuff, based on just what I see. We could learn more information within a few hours from now, or the day of the patch, or in some interview that hasn't been published yet, but right now this sort of sucks. So what I'd like to see is just a way for alts or new players to have a little bit more space to catch up. So for example, if it's a few months into the season and a character is like behind on these splintered sparks, let's just make it so that other sources of content can or will drop more of these splinters, up to a certain point of course. So like for PvP, maybe a chance for them to drop from winning battlegrounds or arenas, and for PvE, the Niffin activity could drop more splinters, or maybe they'll come from rares, and these would drop until the player has earned the equivalent of 5 sparks, just like in Season 1, and then they'll be subject to having to do the weekly for more of these splinters. That is all I ask, just a way for new players and alts to catch up. I mean, they still gotta work for it, and they still need to get the materials and have a crafter make the gear, but they're not gonna feel behind, they're not gonna feel screwed. So that's the feedback. Let me know what you think in a comment, like, subscribe, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.